So I want to introduce mathematical principle to everyone. Please go to module 3. Yes. Yeah. I was curious why chapter 2 is in module 3. The reason is I introduced the chapter 3 first because it's more intuitive. It's software operation. It's visible, everybody can see. So once you get a sense about optimization analysis, let's go back to chapter 2. Let's talk about the mathematical principle. Right? I think the author can sell more copies if he used my order, right? From easy part to more advanced part. Let's talk about the mathematical model. As I told everyone, we want to be a pro, not a bro, right? A bro means basic. He or she knows very basic stuff. And then they can only stop at a very superficial level when they talk about optimization. A pro means you go to the mathematical principle. You understand, at least you understand how this model, how this software was designed. Right? But unfortunately, this is the only night I talk about math model. The reason is, as you can see, in this case, we have how many decision variables? Two decision variables. So we can present the math solution in a 2D dimension. But in practice, we really talk about multiple decision variables. So if you present the multiple decision variables into a mathematical coordinate, we cannot do that. Even 3D is tough to understand, right? If you have 4 decision variables, how can you create a 4-dimensional space? That's impossible. That's why this is the only time I want to use this 2 decision variable case to show you the math model. But I wish you can build this sense of a mathematical principle. When you get 4 or more or 6 or 10 decision variables, at least you know how it comes out, right? Let's talk about the math model. Did you read this developer guide? You read it? Okay, very good. Yeah, this developer guide will show you the solution in a visual way. Oh, by the way, I spent 2 days to draw this nice chart. So you must read it. It's very hard to draw the chart, right? Okay, let's talk about the model. Okay, as I said, constraint is the fundamental point, is the starting point of every optimization analysis. So in order to answer this question in a math way, we look at each constraint first. Let's talk about the first constraint, cutting and dyeing. Cutting and dyeing. From the question, we know it takes the cutting and dyeing department 0.7 hours to manufacture 1 standard bag. It takes cutting and dyeing 1 hour to manufacture a deluxe bag. And the total available hour, the capacity limit is 630, right? So let's forget about other constraints. Let's only focus on this constraint. And I want to raise 2 extreme scenarios. The first extreme is I want the cutting and dyeing department completely focus on standard bags. You don't need to worry about deluxe bags. I don't need you to manufacture deluxe bag. Just focus on standard bag. And I want you to use all 630 hours to manufacture standard bags. So can everyone tell me how many standard bags I can get from cutting and dyeing in this extreme case? How many? We use 0.7 to divide 630, right? Right? So how many? Give me a number. 900. Is that 900? Yeah. So let me do this. In order to visualize the solution, I want to use the y-axis to represent the number of deluxe bags I manufacture in the cutting and dyeing department. I use the x-axis to represent the number of standard bags I manufacture in cutting and dyeing. So in the first extreme, I want to find the solution point. The first extreme is I want cutting and dyeing completely use 630 hours, only manufacture standard bags. So I'm able to locate this 900 point on the x-axis. 900 means 900 standard bags, 0 deluxe bags, right? Of course, I can locate this 900, 0 point on the x-axis. Anything lies on the x-axis means the y-axis equals to 0, yes, right? So that means I use y-axis to represent the number of deluxe bags. I don't want cutting and dyeing to manufacture any deluxe bag. Of course, I can locate 900, 0, right? This means 900 standard bags, 0 deluxe bag. Now I look at the second extreme scenario. I want cutting and dyeing to completely focus on deluxe bags, 0 standard bag. 0 standard bag means what? The value must be lying on the y-axis, right? Y-axis. So what should be the value? We already get the answer, right? It takes cutting and dyeing 1 hour to manufacture one deluxe bag. The maximum labor hour is 630. I want all these 630 on deluxe bag. Of course, I can manufacture 630 deluxe bags, 0 standard bag, right? So what should be other combination of a standard bag and deluxe bag the cutting and dyeing department can get? Between these two extreme points, I draw a straight line, right? Anything in the shaded area, including the straight line, could be the possible combination of standard bag and deluxe bags produced by cutting and dyeing. They will never exceed this straight line, this red line, right? I could have other combination of S and D. They could be in the shaded area. I don't care. Because, why I don't care? Because they are not on the extreme lines. Think about it. We are looking for maximize the value, minimize the value. So all these maximize and minimize are extreme values. They must be on this red line between the two extreme points, right? That's why we don't care about the shaded area. I just want to let you know, if you choose anything in the shaded area, that will work because it's under the extreme range. It's within this extreme range, but we don't care, right? So I use this red line to represent the possible solutions of S number and D number for this question. Based on what? Based on the first constraint. That's why I always tell everyone, constraint is the most important fundamental solution to an optimization analysis, right? Very important. Okay, let me give some terminologies to the extreme points. Let me call these 2 points on the point on the x-axis and y-axis extreme points because they are extreme, right? Extreme. Let me call this red line boundary, decision boundary. Decision boundary. You will never find a solution over this red line. It could be on the red line, it could be under the red line, but the possible solution of S and D will never exceed this red line. So I call this boundary or decision boundary. Okay. If you talk about boundary in decision science, you just call it boundary because decision science, scientists don't care about decision, right? But if you talk about business analytics, you call it decision boundary, Yeah, make it sound nicer, right? Strategic. Yeah. Remember these two terms? And I want to call this shaded area, including the boundary, including the extreme points, feasible region. Feasible region. I already listed the terminologies in the developer guide. You see, boundary, extreme points, right? Feasible region, somewhere you can read it, right? Now you know extreme points, boundary, feasible region. We look for the possible solutions, possible decision variables only on the boundary. Yeah. Then we look at the second constraint. Now you know how you can present it in a chart, right? What should be the two extreme point values for the second constraint? Sewing department. So you use 600 hours completely on standard bags. You get a value. What is it? 1200. Then you use 600 completely on deluxe bags. 720, yes, 720. And then you find these two extreme points. I use the yellow line, right? Now it's not a puzzle to you, right? You understand why I spent 2 days drawing this. It's meaningful. And then what you can do, if you only have two constraints, basically you overlap these two feasible regions to look for the cross points between the two regions, right? Because the cross points are made by the boundaries. Yeah. And then you look at the third constraint. The third constraint. You can find the two extreme points for the third constraint, right? What are they? It's in the, I hear some classmates say it's in the developer guide. Yes, you are right. Yes, it's here. It's an overlap of first three constraints, right? You see, I have some intersections created by boundaries, right? The possible values for S and D will be located on the cross points, on the intersection. Yeah. And then I look at the fourth constraint. Oh, this is a combination of 4 constraints, right? You have a point A and point B. Point A and point B. Let me zoom in a little bit. You have point A and point B. Can you find out the values for point A and point B? Since we talk about the extreme scenarios, it always be equations, not unequations, right? Equations. How many unknowns do we have? 2 unknowns. How many equations do we have? 2 equations. 2 unknown, 2 equations. According to very basic algebra, we can find the values, right? For the 2 unknowns. That will be the value for A and B. You will scare me if you ask me how you get the two unknown values. I will be scared. Right. This should be learned from maybe elementary school. Yeah. 2 equations, 2 unknowns, you should be able to address the 2 equations. Right. So we can find the values for A and B. What should be next? Next, you have a combination of values. You get all the extreme points values, right? What you need to do is basically bring these values back to objective function. Find out which one make you the largest value. And then you can find out which one. Point B can give you the largest objective function value. What is point B? 540 and 252. Let's go back to the software. 540 and 252 in the grid cell. Oh, Bill Gates is so smart. Yes, I agree. Yes, that's why he is worth billions, hundreds of billions. Yeah. To me, he's not a scientist. He's not a mathematician. He's not a businessman. But he is kind of like a messenger. Combine everything together into a great system. Microsoft's Office package is the largest cash cow to Microsoft because it's useful, right? And it's built in a rigorous way. It's not a random guess. It's not a random number. You toss a die, let me try this number. Since my computer is high computing power, and then I can try unlimited time. No. It's built based on mathematical principle. Everybody clear? What about the online class? Everybody good? Online class? Oh, I get a feedback. Tanuja said data validation. Tanuja, you are way ahead of Bill Gates. He didn't use data validation. You will learn data validation, model validation in advanced analytics class. But I guess Tanuja made the comment before I explain. Tanuja, I think you should understand now, right? Yeah. Okay, very good. Very good. Wishal said yes. Aliza said yes. Okay, Tanuja gave me feedback. She said yes. Very good. Very good. User 243269 said yes. And then Erica said yes. Very good. Vanilla said yes. Lucina said yes. Very good. I wish you can apply this discussion to your job interview. As I told you, if you understand this subject, you are not scared of the job interview. I remember my first job interview after several rounds of interview. Finally, I'm one of the finalists. Do you know what is the last round interview? Who has worked before? Who has gone through the interview process before in the US? Job interview. No, I mean, you finally in the finalist. The final round is very scary. Do you know what is it? People will invite you to a lunch.
Oh yeah, I heard about it.
You heard about it,
and then
right?
Even the scenario like they invite you to the launch.
Yeah.
And then they end up
they throw you some models,
yeah.
throw you some questions. Explain it to me. Yeah, that's the toughest lunch I have ever heard. Yeah, it's very difficult. You have to be prepared. They will start with some life questions, right? Regular conversation, and then they will switch to more professional models. They want to attack you when you are not aware, right? When you seem not very prepared, and then they can learn you. They can know you. They know you as a person and know you as a job candidate. Yeah. I get it done very well because several years ago, when I applied for jobs as a professor, I think the mobile app development was very hot. Before my job interview, I developed several games. And then they say, what is your game? I said, it's called Racing with Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan is an American celebrity, right? She used to be very famous. But one day she drunk and drive on the Pacific Highway, and then she wrecked her red Ferrari. I read this news report, so I want to make fun of celebrity, these scandals. So I developed an app called Racing with Lindsay Lohan. In the game, I forget to bring my iPad. Maybe next time I will show you. It's a motion sensing app. Let me show you the other day. Motion sensing. So basically, you control the iPad, and then a car will drive around. Next to you, there will be a red Ferrari distracting you, trying to wreck your car. So you have to move your iPad to avoid the wreck. Yeah. And then they get very interested. I don't think my colleagues at that college understand how to develop the app, the game. So they ask me several questions. I get a lesson after the lunch. If you understand the topic well, you can lead the conversation. If you don't understand the topic, you will always be quiet. You cannot show your talent. That's the moment you should shine, right? It's like you go to American Got Talent. You have been preparing for this show for 5 years, 10 years. Once you get on the stage, you have the shining moment. But if you're not very well prepared, you will be buzzed out, right? But if you are prepared, you will go viral. Yeah. I wish everyone can go to that lunch. I wish.
I want to, unless like I have knowledge of the.
Let me know how it goes. It will be a very interesting lunch.
Does it depend on the food taste?
It depends on several factors. That's why it's not controllable. Yeah, it's not like a phone interview or a written interview. You can answer the question by yourself. Everything is not set up. It's just random. Yeah, they will ask you, what do you like to eat? Do you eat out a lot? What kind of food? And then suddenly they will throw a technical question to you. Yeah, right. It's very tough. I heard this is just an academic job, right? I heard Google and Microsoft are even tougher. Yeah. The first round, they will give you the written question. You basically go to an exam, right? Since the exam questions are so tough, they will cut off almost 80% of the job candidates. And then they will go to the phone interview. They will call you, right? Basically, in the conference room, there will be a round of people, a table of people next to the phone. And you are on the other side, you are the only one answering the question. But you are dealing with several managers. Some are from HR manager. They will ask you, what is your expectation of your salary, right? Do you have any concerns about moving? What is your expectation about moving expenses, right? When can you start? This kind of procedural questions. Then you have the development department, you have the programming department, usually the data science department ask you this kind of technical questions. Yeah. If you are really good, actually one of my friends just got a job right before the pandemic. She's very lucky. I think she's lucky because she has the skills. Yeah, we cannot always say someone is lucky. No, the good luck was built on hard working. Yeah, she graduated with a PhD in data science from BYU, Birmingham Young University in the West. And then she went to the company called Marvel Technology. It's a chip manufacturer. Let me show you. Marvel Technology. Let me show you the map because we just had some conversation over the phone 2 weeks ago. So she said she's living in, let me see, I forget. I'm not very familiar to California. Marvel Technology. San Jose, yes, San Jose. San Jose. I want to show you this map because I was so surprised how many famous, well-known companies are located in such a small area. This is Marvel Technology, right? You see, And then you see Dell. And then you see an NVIDIA. Where is NVIDIA? Let me search. Direction, NVIDIA Corporation. I guess it's here, right? 9 minutes. Within 9 minutes, you have a two largest chip manufacturers. 9 minutes. Think about the commerce. If you drive out 9 minutes from commerce, what can you see?
Walmart is also a big company.
What? And then you have where is a Google? The university computer screen is too small, but at home I can see. You see, 9 minutes away, you find Google. And then where is Apple?
It's like living in New York City.
It's like living in New York City, right?
Yeah.
Now I understand. If you want to study finance, why you need to go to NYU, New York University. If you want to study technology, data science, why you go to UC Berkeley?
Yeah.
Why you go to Stanford? Because Stanford is just 15 minutes away from this area. Stanford University. Oh, 25 minutes, sorry, 25 minutes. Sorry about that. Oh, I guess the reason it's 25 minutes because there is a car accident right now.
Oh.
If the traffic is clear, it should be 15 minutes. Yeah. Thank you, Google. Now you know, right? Yeah. Why many media said, oh, San Francisco is dead because Tesla moved to Austin, because Oracle moved to Houston. That's fine, because there are plenty of large companies still in San Francisco, in San Jose area. Now you understand why people pay millions of dollars as tuition going to Stanford, right? Because they don't care about the tuition. If you get close to the large company, you get invaluable opportunities. Do you know how much money Sandy Pache gets every year as a salary? Who knows Sandy Pache? Sandy Pache, you don't know? You don't know? Yes. Oh, that concerned me. You are business analytics major and you don't know Sandy Pache. Pache, right? Yeah, Sandy Pache. You don't know him? I don't know this woman, but I know him. I don't know who this woman is. Yeah, this is Sandy Pache. He's very famous in India, right? I watched several videos. He went to IIT. He graduated from IIT, right? IIT Chatham? Really? I remember he graduated from IIT. Let's see. IIT, yes. Yeah, I remember he graduated from IIT. Even though I'm not from India, I know IIT is one of the best universities in the world. I watched a documentary. It's about preparing for the exams for IIT. The acceptance rate of IIT is how many? 1%. 1%. The students who wanted to go to IIT tell the TV reporter, we only go to MIT if I cannot get into IIT. So you know the level of IIT. This gentleman graduated from IIT, and he's currently the CEO of Google. So if you get rejected by Google, you should know the reason. Because he will give you IIT level questions. And then if you want to get into Google, you should get IIT level answers. Otherwise, that's not possible. Do you know how much he got? You see, he graduated from Wharton Business School, right? From the University of Pennsylvania. I think every year you need to pay you need to pay $100,000 as a tuition for Wharton Business School. But it's worth it. Do you know how much he get every year now?
2 million years.
How much?
2 million years.
Can you speak louder?
2 million.
2 million. 2 million? Think bigger, please.
Billion in billions, let's say 1 billion.
Think bigger. I just read the news report. $281 million.
Close to billion.
281 million, yeah. Yeah, close. Yeah. That's why many people make efforts to get in the top university. Because once you get in, your mindset is changed. You are not looking at a commerce level or small town level. You look at the world. If everybody is using your product, right? How can it not be rich? Yeah. Actually, to them, to these people, money is just a symbol. They don't care about money. They care about the lifetime achievement.